Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Candid Conversations about network marketing with Dr. Wayne and myself, BK. Hi, Dr. Wayne.
Hi, BK. Hi, everyone.
Good morning, good morning. Almost afternoon for you over there.
Yeah, just about. And in all different parts of the world, who knows?
Yeah.
But hello, wherever we are. Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today, Doc?
Yeah, it's over the last few weeks, we've looked at hopefully some people have put together some meditation practices. And it's really important to, and maybe I'll describe a little bit more about why we did that meditation process. I'll just describe a little bit more about that shortly. So we've looked at that. We've also looked at the importance of looking at books or some sort of Audible or something like that in the morning as well. And especially if you do that with exercise or you plan your exercise. So think of the morning as a time when it's for you. So it's for you to basically allow you to grow. And one of the topics I'd like to go through today is typically humans find it very difficult to change. We like our set ways and we find it quite difficult to change. So with the meditation technique that we talked about last time, we talked about the principle of breathing and bringing your breath into behind the belly button, the dantian area, and just trying to feel that energy through breath, or just trying to allow that energy to dissipate to nothing. So you're trying to have no thought, so to speak. Now, what will happen is the brain, of course, the mind will then want to take you to another place. Okay, so it'll take you somewhere. And it typically does that until we train the mind. It'll go somewhere. Now, when you bring it back, when you actually notice that you're somewhere, and then you bring it back, what you're doing is you're actually clearing out really some nice subconscious beliefs. You won't know what they are, but by doing that, you're actually starting to bring about some sort of intuitiveness that allows you to make wiser choices by keep on doing that. Now, another level to understand is that some people are able then to, when they go somewhere else, for example, they'll then know where they are. So they can actually then, they might be at the beach and they can actually see themselves at the beach and that sort of stuff. If you can do that and you're the witnesser, so think of it, if we can become the witnesser of that and then come back, that's another level of letting go of emotional blocks that are stopping us from moving forward in our life.
Wow, that's
really important to understand.
That sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah. So this is just more information growing on this. So, I think I mentioned last time that if you can meditate for 9 seconds without thought, you're brilliant. 9 seconds. So allow the mind, allow is not the right word. The mind will go. It will go somewhere. But the main theme I'd like for you, just going over it again, is when you then bring it back to where you were, behind the belly button, not thinking, but allowing yourself to be there with breath, you now allow yourself to move subconscious thoughts that are negatively affecting you. If you can do it from a witnessing point of view, some call it the silent witness, the witnessing point of view where you can know where you are and you can actually visually see that and then you bring that back, that's another level as well. So just bringing back the 3 most important things when we're in the morning is the meditation, then some sort of audible, some sort of something to, it doesn't have to be, like the meditation's first, but these 2 can be in any order. So the audibles and then some sort of self-development and then exercise. Really important to do the exercise at least 3 or 4 times a week. So, yeah.
I've been doing
from there, sorry, mate.
I've been doing 20 minutes of hits in my room every day for the past 2 weeks already. Yeah, it's amazing. So I got to put in the other 2 sides that audibles are already a given, but like I said, meditation is the next thing I need to work on.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the most important things to do, and we know from history it's something that those who have aspired to greatness used all the time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the more something is better for us, the less we want to do it. So we all know that certain foods and certain beverages are not good for us, but we'll still do it. We all know that exercise is very good for us, but a lot of us will choose not to do it. And this is coming back to the theme of change. We find it very, very hard to change. Now we're in, and I know this will be something that people will be hearing in years to come as well, because we're on YouTube, so to speak. And where we are now with the virus and that's happening around the world, and all the countries and borders shutting down, the change now is for network marketers. We're used to basically having belly to belly, face to face, whatever words you want to use, sitting down with people in coffee shops, going to meetings, creating seminars, meeting and being personal, networking, etc. And as we know, as network marketers, one of the most important things to ever do is to get your team to a really major event. And of course, all that's been cancelled. Yeah. So the change now is going, okay, what can we do to allow that to be accepted, number one, and what can we do personally to become a better leader to now change maybe our thought processes about going online, doing Zoom calls. And there might be fear around IT. What do I do with IT? How do I do this? And all that. There might be all these, do I have to buy Zoom? Do I have to go and load it? What all these different things then becomes little obstacles. But the interesting thing, if we can think of those obstacles, they're the same obstacles that will stop us from moving forward no matter what it be. In another time, maybe 5 months ago, it might have been, I've got to put out the trash and I've got to fix this and I've got to do that, rather than making the calls. So even this week, I've already done myself, I've done a Zoom call, another one last night. I'm doing another one on Saturday, embracing this change to help people and to help the leaders in the group to actually aspire to other technologies and that as well. And it was quite. It's quite interesting. I'm finding it really, really a great opportunity for those networkers who want to take this to a whole new level. We're at home. We're basically isolated. We need to get in contact with people. This is a nice way of doing it. And these days, because I've been doing it for 10 years, from my practice point of view, I am so used to it. To me, it feels like you are here and I'm talking with you, BK. Like, that's how personal this has become to me. So with time, I'm sure people will be able to experience that same phenomena as well.
Yeah, so I mean, totally understand the fact that most of us are resistant to change. But in a way, before we started this and going live, Dr. Wayne and myself, we were talking about this, and it's like, we also want to encourage you by by the things that we say during this podcast. You understand that this podcast, while it is informational and instructional in some sense, it is also part of our learning journey as well. Some of you who have seen the first episode until this episode, you will also see that there are certain changes that we have tried to do in the content and also the way we have delivering this thing and so on. It's also a learning journey for us. So trust us that when we say that people are resistant to change, it includes us, right? We are not anything different from you. It was also a learning experience for us to kind of get this going as well. So it doesn't have to be difficult. And I think it goes back to something we talked about early on. Think about the reasons and the whys of why you're doing this business or in this industry called network marketing. Because if your reason is strong enough, if your why is strong enough, nothing will stop you. Okay, nothing will stop you. It is. If your reason is not strong enough, then anything will stop you, right? It could be taking out the trash, like what Dr. Wing was talking about. It could be, I need to make sure the laundry is done. And today's time and age, it will become something like, I do not know how to use the internet. I don't know how to sign up for Zoom, So just go back to basics in a way, discover your why. And I think for many of us in this unfortunate climate now, I think the why is going to be even stronger. Right, Doc? Yeah, it's going to come out even stronger. So we are going to look at quite a number of countries are in a state of lockdown right now, and also once we come out of lockdown, I think we are not going to go back to 100% normal. And so as network marketers, we kind of need to learn how to incorporate new skills and new ways of doing things if you want to thrive in this industry. Correct?
Yeah, very, very correct. So the biggest theme in marketing is once you identify your why and once you identify your ideal client, which we've gone through in previous episodes, from a marketing point of view, then the next thing then is lead generation. And then it's then, okay, how can we, and we were talking about this just before, in terms of getting this podcast out to more people. So, and we're looking at, okay, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube, there's all these different platforms you can then use to take your message to another level. And one of the things that I know personally, if we just talk personally, is because I've been in this industry for so long and being on stage and that type of stuff, I've looked at how come some things I do, I move really quickly, and then other things I don't move as quick. And what I've found is personally, I'm really, really struggle with someone saying negative things or confliction about who I am. So think of it like if I'm here and I'm now not seen by the world, right? Not seen by the world, not seen by many people. When you move up, and this is the same with everyone. So it might be even just sitting in a Zoom call and then thinking in your mind that, hey, I want to become a leader. The next thing I've got to do is be able to present a Zoom call. Okay, now your apprehension might be the same as mine, which is if I do that, people then might basically, oh, you didn't do it very well because it's the first time, and you sure that was okay, and all the rest of it. And it's the same with anyone as you move up. And unfortunately, there'll be people who will criticize, there'll be people who will say negative things. But what I've generally found is that those nasty people, which is not that many around, but they seem to be around, the good, the positive people are far more, will outweigh the negative. So when if I just look at this from a personal view, if I don't look at that side of my personality, I soar. But if I look at that in terms of the perfectionist attitude of all of us, I think we all have this perfectionist attitude. We've got to do it right, blah, blah, blah. And as we know, even from doing this, and you just commented on before, BK, our first one is going to be different than our fifth one, and our fifth one's going to be different than the 10th one. And when I get this stuff that you've got, it's going to even look different again. So it's going to sound different, be different as well. But it's basically then, okay, allowing you to accept that if I am going to change, these are some of the things that will happen, but it's more positive than not. And allow your personalities to move through that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it together, do the best you can, and each time you do it, it'll get better and better and better.
Yeah, definitely. So in line with what Doc was just saying, I just want to quickly point out that all these things are not necessary. You could literally start a podcast or Zoom with a phone.
Hey, look at this one. Look at this one.
Yeah. The thing is that you also like to do things that give you joy. So for me, I've always been quite a geeky person. So stuff like this gives me joy. And since I'm doing this, I like to do things that will give me joy, right? And of course, so again, but when I started, I didn't have all this. I also started, if you look back at some of my other Facebook Lives that I did on my own without Dr. Wayne, you'll notice that I used no equipment at all. I basically just use my mobile phone, but we all have to start somewhere. And if it gives you joy to geek out like me, then by all means, just knock yourself out, right? But if not, just understand that you really do not need to have any fancy equipment. Basically, I think what is really interesting is that somebody mentioned as well that if this current climate of the pandemic or the virus thing that is happening now happened in the 80s, then actually network marketers will be kind of in a difficult spot because we do not have the access, right? We do not have access to the internet. We do not have access to Zoom platforms like this. So it is interesting that today we are kind of equipped to be able to weather this current situation. In fact, if any of us, I would reckon that there's nobody here on the call tonight that doesn't have a mobile phone. And if you have this, if effectively you are good to go, you are able to jump on a 3-way Zoom call with any of your friends or any of your prospects anywhere in the world, as long as you have the internet and as long as you have a phone in your hand, right? So don't feel that it is a massive hurdle to overcome. It is not. It really is not. The solution is right in your pocket, right?
Yeah. It's just then accepting, getting back to the theme, it's just accepting that I've now got to change and do things differently. And don't let that little voice of fear, that ego fear thing basically stop you, because everyone on this, listening to this, watching this, has the power of greatness within you. You've got that power of greatness within you. That's why we're here on planet Earth, to help, to grow, to become a better person, and then to serve. And what a better way to serve with being able to help people, especially in this industry, to help people with wealth, and also then to be able to help people, especially in our industry anyway. And what we have is then with health as well. The two things that basically can really, really affect people negatively. And we're seeing businesses now basically just falling apart. We're seeing the queues and the dole lines extremely high. And we're seeing things that we've never seen in our generations. But we've got that ability when we are pushed, humans, when we are pushed up against a wall, we have an ability to move forward like nothing else. If we take that positive, yes, I can change attitude.
Yes.
If we end up in the fetal position in the corner, unfortunately, you're going to be trampled over. Just allow yourself to grow through that and become the person that is deep inside you in your heart.
Yeah, I kind of, when Doc was sharing that, the first impression or the first image that came to my mind was, if you want to do the big boy stuff, remember when you were like a small boy. So if you want to do the big adult stuff, remember when you were a little child. When you were a little child and you're learning to walk, right? You don't give up when you had the first fall, right? So you keep trying until you can walk, right? So sometimes we kind of forget that we have all these innate skills in us. We have all these innate abilities to push through, to make sure we achieve what we want to achieve. From being a baby, we just start to roll around and roll over, and then keep our head up, and then we start to sit, and then we start to stand, and then we stand, and we won't stand in a proper way. We'll stand and we fall, right? But that doesn't stop us. Stand, we take the first step, we hobble, we fall, and then we get up again and we do that. Maybe it takes us a year and a half to start to learn how to walk, but the essence is we still end up being able to do so. So sometimes when we are all adults now, and we're trying to do the big adult stuff, remember how we were when we were little kids or when we were little children. The sense of innocence, the curiosity, the willingness to try things, the feeling that we don't worry about people looking at us and laughing, so I think that is something we can learn from ourselves when we are babies.
Yeah. And probably to put that into perspective, I think it was Earl Nightingale who said that if you spend 10 minutes a day on something new, in 1 year time, you'll become an expert.
Yeah.
So it's only a year. It's only like sometimes it might only be 3 months. But once you start putting your mind towards something, and and we've spoken about this before in prior episodes, the most important thing when you're learning is to listen to something over and over and over and over again, because there are things that will be missed because of our biases or not understanding certain things. And if you keep doing that and then allow yourself to I'll just say it again, keep doing it, because a lot of us will only do it for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. So it's accepting change, looking at that change and then going, okay, I am now going to keep on doing this until I become an expert in this, and then I'm going to share and teach it once you feel more comfortable with it.
Yeah. So one last thing before we end today, just want to give you guys, everyone on the call, an added challenge. Don't wait for someone to teach you to do what you need to do, right? Don't wait for your team leaders to teach you or to hold you by the hand to use how to use Zoom and so on, right? My challenge to you or anyone who's listening today is very simple. Go and find out. Because if you find out for yourself, you're going to learn that you'll give another level of satisfaction to you because you learn how to do this on your own. So it's actually very simple. Everyone knows that you can Google, you can YouTube. In fact, these days I find that YouTube is a better learning place than Google, because people show you by proper full-length videos. So just go to YouTube or go to Google. You can type in how to use Zoom or how to set up Zoom, and you'll be amazed at the level and the depth of tutorials that are already available. So don't wait for your team leaders. Don't wait for anyone to guide you along. To do it yourself today. Do that for yourself, and the satisfaction that you'll get from it because you picked up a skill on your own is going to stand you in good ground, right?
And just to finish with on that is there's a new leader that's just come on board in my team, and she's never used Zoom before. And I didn't say anything, and she just went in. She then knew within about an hour and basically how to set it up. She then actually sent everything out, and today we're doing the meeting tomorrow by Zoom. Today she's going to have her phone, her laptop and 2 computers, and she's going to set them all up to make sure she's going to be doing it all correctly. And that is the embracing to embrace change. That's what we need to do as leaders.
Yes,
definitely. And if you get stuck, of course, if we get stuck, put up your hand and say, I need some help. But I thought that was so inspirational, so inspirational.
Okay, thank you, Doc. And thank you, everyone. With that, we wrap up another episode. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and keep plowing at your business. Thanks, Dr. Wayne.
Yes. Thank you, BK. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Catch you next time.